So I just quit my job and today was my last day. And just after work, I've just come out here for a bit of a walk. People have asked me today how you've been feeling, and honestly, one feeling that I am getting is that feeling of going into an abyss. I've lived my life with so much structure in the past, from primary school, high school, and then to uni, and then to a job where you get promotions. Now it kind of just feels like I'm going into a little bit of an unknown, and it's exciting, but also a little bit scary at the same time.
When I graduated from law school and started my first full-time job as a lawyer, I thought that I had made it. But after about 3 years of grinding it out in the corporate world, I decided that it wasn't for me, and I quit. Hey guys, my name is Jono, and at the end of 2021, I decided to quit a job that paid me over $100,000 as a lawyer to pursue a photography and videography business with my best friend Jason. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys the 3 learning experiences that pushed me to make the jump from a 9-to-5 job into creative entrepreneurship at the age of 26. At the end of 2017, I read a book called Rich Dad Poor Dad, which completely changed my life. Growing up, my perception of wealth was someone who earned lots of money. High income professionals like doctors and lawyers who could afford to drive really fancy cars, live in the nicest neighborhoods in big houses, take their families on extravagant holidays, and dine at the finest restaurants. But after reading the book, I realized that being rich and being wealthy are 2 completely different things. That money allows them to live a lavish lifestyle, but if they were suddenly fired or they decided to stop working tomorrow, they'd find it very difficult to sustain their current lifestyle. Being wealthy, on the other hand, means that you are financially free. You have accrued enough assets where the income generated from those assets is enough to cover your current lifestyle, which means that you can stop working tomorrow, or you can work a little bit less and still sustain the lifestyle that you're currently living. And for me personally, the biggest difference that I saw between being rich and being wealthy was the importance of time. Sometimes people who are considered rich are actually living paycheck to paycheck or even drowning in debt because of the lifestyle decisions that they make. This forces them to give up their time and keep working hard in order to earn income to sustain their lifestyle. On the other hand, a wealthy person has time and, more importantly, freedom. They have the freedom to work a little bit less if they want to, or take a risk and pursue something that they enjoy, or even take a break altogether without too much of a significant impact on their lifestyle. For me, after reading this book and starting my first full-time job, I knew that I wanted to move into this wealthy category as quickly as possible. Because for me personally, I valued my time, freedom, and the ability to have options over trying to look successful to the outside world by buying nice things. And most importantly, I never wanted that feeling of living paycheck to paycheck. And so when I started my first full-time job at the age of 23, I focused on 2 things. Number 1 is I kept my lifestyle expenses extremely low. Whilst a lot of my colleagues were renting out fancy apartments near the city, spending lavishly on travel, dining, and shopping, or going out on weekends drinking, I chose to live at home and pay rent to my parents, which allowed me to save over 50% of my income. Number 2 is I increased my earning capacity. In addition to my 9-to-5 salary that I was getting every month, I also learned a high income skill in photography and videography, and then I monetized that skill to create a side hustle business that generated me an extra $3,000 to $5,000 each month. Doing these 2 things during the 3 years I was working a full-time job allowed me to build my wealth and create a safety net for me to take a risk to quit my job and pursue my business full-time. And now that I am on the other side of a 9-to-5 and I have a business that allows me to earn a decent living whilst having control of my time, there's little things throughout the week that make me realize what's truly more important in life than being stuck in an office all day. Things like taking a longer lunch break to take my grandparents out for lunch, or going out for a 30-minute walk during the day without having to worry about staying online to be available for my colleagues, or having the flexibility to plan multiple trips throughout the year without having to worry about running out of annual leave. These are the little things that I look back on every day, which I really cherish since making the jump from a 9-to-5 into running my own business. If you don't define your own version of success, society will place its own version upon you. From a very young age, we are taught a very specific version of success. That version of success goes something like this. Get good grades, go to university, get a high-paying job, buy a nice house and have kids, climb the corporate ladder for 40 years, retire, and die. But what I've learned as I've gotten older is that everyone runs their own race in life. Especially after doing a lot of traveling during uni and meeting a ton of people who didn't necessarily follow the traditional path, I've come to learn to not be afraid to go against the grain, to actually apply some critical thinking and reflect on what is it that I actually want in life. I think for so many of us, especially those who are typically sort of more high achievers, we are so busy every day trying to tick off the checklist in terms of the success metrics that society has defined for us. But we never really take the time to think about what does a successful life look like for us. It's easy following the path that everyone else, including your friends, are taking in life. It's safe, it's certain, and you have social status. And because of these quote unquote benefits, we decide to close our eyes and blindly follow the path, even though deep down we know that following this path makes us want to die a little bit inside every single day. Build your own dreams, or someone will hire you to build theirs. For me, when I started my first full-time job, I realized pretty quickly that a 9-to-5 job wasn't for me in the long run. I just couldn't see myself contributing 40 years of my life to someone else's dream. It just didn't really fit into my version of success. And just the other week, we actually attended a business conference where we did a really helpful workshop on success. They got us to answer 2 questions to help us define our own version of success. The first question is more aspirational and is more focused on a point in time in the future. And so answer this question: I will be successful when ... So for myself, these are the 3 that I wrote down. I will be successful when my passive income exceeds my monthly expenses. I will be successful when I have the means to provide my family with a good life. I will be successful when I have the time and location freedom to travel and explore the world. Note that I didn't write down, I will be successful when I reach partner level at a law firm. But I know that so many of us who work in the corporate world have this as their definition of success. The second question is more focused on the present, the things that we do on a day-to-day basis that make us feel successful. So answer this question: I feel successful when ... So for myself, these are the 3 things that I wrote down. I feel successful when I'm building something of my own and working towards my long-term goals. I feel successful when I can spend quality time with family. I feel successful when I have the time to regularly exercise and play soccer or go for a swim. Note that I didn't write down I feel successful when I work 80 hours per week in an office. When I defined my version of success, I realized that a 9-to-5 job just really didn't fit into my long-term vision. And so I took steps to get out of the 9-to-5 structure and to build a lifestyle that I truly wanted. And for those of you who are similar to me, who grew up in immigrant families, we are told the story from a very young age of our parents coming to this country when they're very young with nothing, not knowing the language, and they gave up everything so that we could have the opportunities to pursue a good life. And with this in mind, I just want to share with you guys this Twitter thread that I came across a few days ago, or should I say X thread. My parents immigrated from Australia to China in their early 20s, and they came here with nothing. Growing up, my mum would always tell me stories of her coming to Australia and having to share small tiny apartments with 5 of her other cousins and going hungry at night because they had to share one bread loaf between 5 of them. But now, as a second generation, we have the education and the opportunities to pursue something that we enjoy and make a living from it. I used to think that a 9-to-5 job was the ultimate form of stability. You wake up, you go to work, you spend 8 hours there, go home, repeat. At the end of every month, you get your regular paycheck. But I've come to learn that a 9-to-5 job isn't actually that stable. For example, my mom's actually been working for the same company for over 10 years. And just last month, she went into work one day and she was called into a company-wide meeting. There were 2 rooms. One half of the company was asked to go into one room and the other half was told to go into the second room. And in the first room, they were told that the company was cutting costs and that everyone in that room was being made redundant. And just like that, the people who were in the first room, many of them who probably had been at the company for a very long time and many who had actually worked very closely with my mum, suddenly didn't have a job. And luckily my mum was in the second room, so she got to keep her job. The economy slows down and companies cut costs by eliminating jobs. That's just the way that business works. And so the only real form of stability is not in our jobs, but actually in our skills. People and companies can always take away your job, but they can never take away your skills. If you are a highly skilled professional who is able to add a lot of value to the marketplace, even if you lose your job, you can pretty quickly find another job. But what's better yet is a high income skill. This is a concept that I learnt about in my early 20s from Dan Locke, who says that a high income skill is essentially a skill that allows you to add value directly to the marketplace without needing a job, and that allows you to earn $10,000 per month. This includes skills such as high ticket closing, copywriting, SEO, social media management, content creation, or coaching, just to name a few. In a 9-to-5, your sense of stability ends when your company decides to cut costs and take away your job. Having a high income skill is the truest form of stability, because imagine having a skill that allows you to earn $10,000 a month without needing a boss, earning it wherever you want, whenever you want. This gives you flexibility over when you want to work and how hard you want to work. You even have the freedom to pursue more risky ventures in life because you have the ability to generate cash whenever you want. And the great thing is, once you learn one high income skill, you can then continue to stack that with more skills so that you can add more value to the marketplace. So for example, for myself, I started by learning the skill of photography and videography. And now I'm in the process of trying to stack that skill with other skills such as social media management, writing for YouTube, and even coaching down the line. With that being said, quitting the 9-to-5 to pursue your own thing is not for everyone. Some people are very happy with a 9-to-5 job. And having spent 2 years on the other side of a 9-to-5 job, pursuing entrepreneurship, I can definitely say that it is not easy. There's often days when I just look up to the ceiling and think to myself, why didn't I just stay in a 9-to-5 job? Things would be so much easier. But I know that this is the path that's going to lead to meaning, purpose, and fulfillment. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this video, guys. If you found this video helpful, make sure you hit that like button and hit the subscribe button. We would love to have you in the community. If you're also interested, we have an email newsletter, link in the description box down below if you want to sign up. And with that, guys, I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.